and on our official UP account on Facebook so that every future Isko and Iska from all corners of the world may be informed of the good news waiting for them in UP. So regional journals from the country's community newspapers, regional reporters from the Philippine News Agency, as well as the information officers of UP's constituent universities from Luzon.
By ABS-CBN News, a leading entertainment and news network. SIP, our official hydration partner.
It is my honor to introduce the UP System Vice President for Public Affairs to open the program. Please let's give a warm welcome to Attorney Marian Coquia Regidor.
Good morning, everyone. To our friends in the media who travel to UP campus, medyo malayo para sa iba, or have joined us via Zoom, we are deeply grateful that you are here despite your busy schedules and the very short notice. The breaking UP news is no longer a secret. Of course, you are media people, so we expect that you already learned about it by now. But we are giving you the first opportunity to learn more about this morning's news. A first look at the data. But beyond the numbers, we are here to share with you insights into the kind of university we are continuously shaping. One that we strive to be increasingly inclusive, accessible, and truly reflective of our diverse Filipino society. As the national university, UP carries the mandate of serving the Filipino people. That begins with who we welcome through our gates. Over the past years, we have taken very deliberate steps to further democratize and expand access to UP education. These efforts are ongoing and evolving, and we welcome your continued partnership in telling these stories. Stories that remind us that talent, excellence, and hope are found in every corner of our country. Ito po ang aking first press conference bilang bahagi ng University of the Philippines, kaya maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo at pagsuporta. We look forward to having a very meaningful conversation with you today. And now, to tell you more about the state of UP admissions this year and beyond, I'm pleased to turn you over to UP President Angelo Jimenez for his message.
Sa ating mga kaibigan sa media na nandito ngayon at online, sa UP community, at lalong-lalo na sa mga pamilya ng mga estudyante whose lives will be touched by today's announcement. Maayong buntag sa atong tanan. Magandang umaga po. Today is a significant and very special day for the university. This is our annual ritual of infusing new blood, new energy, new hope that hopefully will sustain the university for years and years to come. But let there be no mistake about it. We are not just releasing the results of the UP College admissions test. We are opening doors. Doors that lead to opportunity and hopefully to nation building and to the lifelong journey of learning and service. To the successful examinees, and the release is being released right now. The list is being released right now on a staggered basis. Congratulations to all of you. Your hard work, your dreams, and your potential have brought you through this very moment. To those who did not make it this time, know that this is not the end, of course, but the beginning of many other paths you can take towards your goals. UP is just one way to serve the country, and to promote your dreams. And there are many, many other ways, and many people have achieved magnificent success outside UP. But as the national university, UP is entrusted not only with the task of promoting academic excellence, but also with a sacred duty of making that excellence accessible to those who needed it most. Education, as we all know, is not a privilege. It is a right. But today, it is still aspirational. At UP, we are working every day to make that right a reality for more Filipinos. I am happy to announce that out of 135,236 applicants, 17,996 or 13% received admissions notice. And this includes those who qualified for degree programs and those who are waitlisted. This is a 6.74 increase from last year. From those from public schools, and this is very important, comprise 55%, while 45% came from private schools. This is a significant figure because just 3 years ago, the numbers were almost the reverse. Only 44% came from public schools, while 56% came from private schools. And also significantly, the share of non-science public schools also increased from last year's 29.8% to 31% this year. As we all know, the general public high schools are less endowed than our national science high schools. So very, very happy that these figures are improving. And looking at the geographic location of our students, 30% came from high schools in Metro Manila, 6% from Laguna, 4% from Cavite. And very close to each other at slightly 4% are those coming from Cebu, Bulacan, and Rizal Province. While Metro Manila has the largest share, we see students coming from more provinces this year. For example, in Davao de Oro, we typically have less than 10 qualifiers. After we opened the testing center in Nabunturan, simply by opening a testing center, we now have 31 qualifiers. That's more than 100% increase. Now, in terms of distribution by UP campus, and we're talking about qualifiers for now, those who receive admissions notice, Diliman still gets the top spot at 32.9%, or roughly 33%. But this is lower than last year's 35%. Over 6,200 students received admission notices to campuses outside Diliman, Los Baños, and UP Manila, or a total of 34.8% compared to last year's 30%, or 5,057 students. This is significant because we are dispersing enrollment outside our main constituent units. We all know that we have 9 constituent units in UP. These are autonomous units: UP Diliman, Manila, Los Baños, UP Baguio, UP Cebu, UP Visayas, UP Tacloban is now an autonomous unit, and then UP Mindanao, plus, of course, the UP Open University. Now, the socioeconomic data, this is even more telling. 21.5% of qualifiers comes from household with incomes of 200,000 pesos or below annually. It's gross income. And not only that, we doubled the number of first-generation college students from 6.6% last year to 13% this year. We all know what first-generation college students are. They are the first in their families from 4 generations to step into college. And so today you can say that inch by inch, one family at a time, we are starting more and more people on a journey to break the cycle of poverty and underprivilegedness that have circumscribed their families and lives for generations. This is very special to us. We want the underprivileged to give the underprivileged a fighting chance to be able to participate in the opportunities of our society. Now, our pursuit of making quality UP education to be more inclusive, accessible, and equitable will not be at the expense of protecting our tradition of excellent scholarship and innovative research. These are not without challenges, very serious challenges, What we are most worried about is the remote idea that some might entertain that we have or might have abandoned already our mandate of serving the nation, especially its marginalized peoples, those who truly deserve to benefit from taxpayers' hard-earned money. Personally, for me, this is unthinkable because it goes against the very principle of social justice that UP truly stands for. It is true that the UPCAT as a mode of entry to UP is incredibly difficult and may even be disadvantageous to some students denied of quality elementary and secondary education due to financial challenges and other poverty-related hurdles. And we recognize that UP needs to do better. But aside from UPCAT, there are also other means non-UPCAT qualifiers could enter and thrive in UP, as many have, and then become productive citizens of our country, even leaders, even incredibly successful ones. First, deserving students may opt to enroll in associate degrees offered by academic programs in various UP campuses. They don't require UPCAT. Every one of these units have their own system of a criteria for admissions under the associate degrees. These are mostly 2-year programs, but here's one thing. If you have good grades, if you perform well, you can use these associate degrees to enter into regular baccalaureate degrees program. This is practically the 2-year in their associate degrees could serve as your UPCAT. Excellent students from nearby state universities or private even universities in the country could also transfer to UP because most UP academic programs reserve slots for transferees. They must, however, present evidence of outstanding performance in their schools previous to transferring to UP. And for qualified students who for valid reasons could not attend residential or classroom mode of learning in different campuses of the university, we have again the UP Open University that also offers undergraduate programs to applicants who pass the UPCAT. It also offers postgraduate, master's and PhD programs, and they have produced many already over the years. These are some of the opportunities students could access to be able to avail of UP education. But we are fully aware that entry to UP is just the first step. UP education is costly, even if tuition is free. One needs to pay for food, for dorms, books, transportation, loads, even, and other expenses. This is why last year, to help UPCAT qualifiers from low-income families in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, or GIDAs, in the country, we launched the special program we call LINGAP Scholar Program. Now, what is LINGAP? LINGAP is UP's initiative to remove financial barriers, or to reduce at least financial barriers, to entering and completing one's degree in UP. We provided 194 LINGAP scholars, around 165,000 pesos each in financial aid last year, on its first year. And this includes, because these came from GIDA areas, mentoring support to ensure that they succeed in hurdling the academic challenges, the very high standards of academic challenges that UP students have to hurdle. And this is coordinated by our Office of Student Affairs in their campuses, in their respective campuses. This year, we have earmarked funds for 300 LINGAP scholars for this particular type of students. We do not want students who were offered admissions not to proceed to UP for simple reason of financial lack. This is one of our responses to the challenge of breaking down barriers to excellent education that UP can offer. In addition, the university recently increased the salaries, allowances really, of student assistants and graduate assistants by 35%. By 35 to 50%. We have increased their allowances. This is the first such increase for student assistants and graduate assistants in a decade. These and other initiatives are UP's responses to the need to make UP education more accessible and equitable. Improving access to UP education is a continuing journey. Graduate assistants, student assistants, and one way to supplement the financial resources of our students. We continue to listen to and work to address the needs of our students. We strongly believe that quality education, again, is a fundamental right, not a privilege reserved for a few, lucky few. Our mission is to ensure that every deserving UP student, regardless of socioeconomic background or circumstances, should have access to quality UP education. We are not yet there. But where we want, marami pa tayong tatahakin. Pero marami na tayong nagawa. But the most important thing is that we are moving forward. We are strongly committed to becoming a better mirror of our society, at least to reflect the socio-economic profile of Philippine society, and to promote the notion of fair equality. So to our students, current and future, UP is your university. It is your home. And for those coming one, it's going to be your home for quite a number of years from now. It is your platform. It is your training ground. And one day, it will be your legacy and duty to carry the tradition of honor, excellence, and service forward. Daghang salamat sa atong tanan. Ulit, maayong buntag.
Thank you very much, President Jimenez. It really is a continuing journey towards making UP more accessible, more inclusive, but thank you for sharing those inspiring stories that demonstrate that we are indeed moving forward mean, all those ongoing efforts, we hopefully will see more of that bearing fruit in the coming years. We are also joined here today by Dr. Leo Cobillan, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Pwede pong magpumalakpak. Huwag pong mahiya. Thank you. Dr. Francisco de los Reyes, Director of our Office of Admissions. Sana po makatulog na siya pagkatapos pong i-release ang results ng UPCAT. Tristan Ramos, Director for Office of Student Development Services. Thank you, Director Tristan. He looks after our LINGAP scholars as well. And of course, Shari Olikino, our Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, also helping make sure that our UP students feel at home in the university and know that they are supported. So they are key leaders of the university. They are also your resource persons on programs relating to admissions and related services. And with that, I turn over the mic to Professor Terry to facilitate the second part of our program today, perhaps a more exciting portion because you will hear you and hear directly from you for the question and answer portion. Terry Enrica then.
Thank you, VP Marian. Si Terry, Professor Terry from the UP College of Media and Communication, formerly Mass Communication, will be in charge of getting the questions from our friends, regional journalists from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao via Zoom. So she's busy in the back, but we apologize that we could not accommodate on-cam questions this morning, but we will be very happy to read your questions and the questions that you have posted in the Zoom chat. Okay, so the floor is now formally open for your questions. We have some microphones on the tables, so please identify yourself and direct your questions to the person that you want to ask the question. So our UP system officials are here on hand to answer specific questions. Yes, please.
Hello, good morning po. I just have a question regarding UP's way of Christina Chi po pala of Philstar.com, sorry. My question is, many high schools across the Philippines have different grading standards. Some are strict, while some tend to kind of inflate grades, if that's even a good word for it. Can you explain exactly how UP's admissions process adjusts for these differences to ensure students are evaluated fairly regardless of which high school they attend?
Siguro ako yung makakasagot nito no? Bilang director ng admissions. UP has a very rich database of grades among all applicants in the admission test. No? The UPCAT has been there since 1968 and we have historical and institutional memory about how schools perform in the UPCAT. So UP understands that there are differences, a lot of variations in the grading systems. Right now, we have around more than 160 grading systems operating in the country. And we also entertain applicants from Filipinos abroad. So nag-aaral yan sa mga international schools sa iba't ibang lugar sa buong mundo. So we also have understanding of the grading systems. So UP, given this rich database, is able to transmute and standardize. So alam naman namin halimbawa sa isang lugar, 85 yung grade niya sa science, pero siya yung pinakamagaling doon. Di ba? So, pwedeng yung 85 niya, madali yun sa NCR. Right? Madaling maka-85. Pero sa isang lugar na 85 siya, pero siya na yung highest sa probinsyang yon, iba yung pagtingin ng university doon. Kasi ikaw na yung pinakamahusay doon sa lugar mo, di ba? So there's a way of standardizing this. So there's a statistical methodology that UP employs to standardize and transmute the grades. So we make sure that we can make grades comparable. Kasi talaga may mga eskwelahan na napakagagaling pero ang hirap mong kumuha ng mataas na grado doon, di ba? Alam natin kung sino yung mga paaralang yan. At meron mga paaralan na ang tataas naman ng mga grades nila, pero pagdating sa UPCAT, mabababa yung kanilang mga scores. So we know the disparity there. So there lies the main philosophy on how we transmute and standardize the grades.
But in addition, when the algorithm used to get the UPCAT grade is the 60% of the standardized test, the UPCAT or standardized test, 60% of the entire component of your final grade. 40% lang yung high school.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Christina Chi from Philstar. Yes, the gentleman.
Hi po, Red Mendoza from the Manila Times. I'd just like to ask lang po, I saw po the figures po dito and it seems nga po na parang tumataas po every single year ang mga nag-e-examine also pumapasa sa UPCAT. Can we give a context lang po? How much po is the current allotted budget of the UP system para po masabi po natin na mako-cover po natin itong mga students na pakakapasa po sa UPCAT, including the ongoing the retaining student population po for this year. Just for context lang po.
Yes, I just like to slide one thing. We are not lowering standards for UP. What we are trying to ensure success are those who, despite the odds, passed UP, the UPCAT. But as I said earlier, we also have opened other avenues like the 2-year programs that we're offering. Yeah, the associate degrees program that we're offering to give opportunities for students that we know have talent, that they are just disadvantaged to enter UP outside the UPCAT process. So, no, but we do have a budget for that. We manage the UP enjoys fiscal autonomy, so we can realign our program if we have savings in one area. But most of these already are set at the General Appropriations Act. We have set aside that budget.
Sir, of course, we have marami pong hindi nakapasa sa UP. I mean, out of the 130,000 na nag-exam, only 13,000 or more than only 13,000 yung nakapasa dito. Of course, ano po bang, well, of course, just to put into record lang po, of course, there will be people na sasabihin nila na, of course, they want to go to the UP pero hindi sila nakapasa sa UPCAT. Ano po ba ibang ways? Pwede po ba sila kunyari, kasi sabi na po sa akin to before na pwede kang mag-aral muna sa ibang school then transfer sa UP pero stringent yung requirement daw pag nag-transfer ka sa UP. So ano po ba yung pwedeng ways na gagawin ng mga hindi pinalad sa UPCAT pero they really want to go to the UP? Ano po ba mga ways for them to
routes.
enter the
Thank
state?
you, Ed. No, so you're asking about alternative routes for
Alternative
admission
routes,
to UP.
yes.
So for those who did not qualify in UPCAT, you can, there's another application for the Associate in Arts program. There's a 2-year program to instead of UPCAT. So you have to show that you're able to reach the grade requirement for you to proceed to the bachelor's program. So separate yung admission doon. However, if you already enrolled in another university, you need 1 year in that university and apply to UP using the grades. Tapos actually I just want to add also to yung question kanina. So we accept around, so now 17,000 students including the wait list. But the number of students, the first year students with the degree programs, it'd be around 10,600, no? So, but then may wait list tayo because there are students who would not actually enroll or accept the offer dahil parang before, we only give them 2 weeks to confirm their acceptance. But during the term of President Jimenez, mula nung 2023, in-increase natin yung time for them to actually end. Even if we just increase from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, parang naging significant yon for them to actually plan their lives na natanggap sila sa UP. And in fact, nakita din natin yung sinabi ni President Jimenez na hindi lang naman dahil libre kasi yung tuition, pero kailangan mo ng allowance to stay here and to buy books. Yun yung kaya nakita natin na ang hirap pumasok sa UP, and yet may mga at least 1,000 students, 1,000 to 1,400 students, they don't enroll. Kasi hindi nila kaya yung education. That's when inano ni President yung Link-Up Scholar.
Dagdag lang ako, no? We're not lowering standards. We are giving chance to really qualified students to come to UP and then succeed in UP. But just give you an example, no? In UPLB, merong Forest Ranger Certificate Program. 2 years. Ang qualifications ito, kailangan lang makatakbo ka ng ilang kilometro. Because Forest Ranger to eh. But if you have good grades, up to 2 years, you can join the regular BS Forestry. Another thing, sa mga sports program natin, may associate degree in sports, yung mga talented na players natin, no? They can, through talent, enter UP and do well and enter a regular course in the College of Human Kinetics ng UP. Meron tayo, for example, we introduced that even in UP Mindanao, for example, a sports degree. I still remember that as when I was still a region. But here's one important point lang that we'd like to state. We know that for many of the aspiring students, many of them, UP is the first choice. But we do not want to encourage that it is the only choice. And so to do that, to be able for us to spread equity in terms of quality education, we have embarked on one flagship program, which is SUC collaboration. We are collaborating with other state university colleges and even with the private colleges and universities to improve undergraduate education. So the idea is this: you can be in UP without being in UP. Can you understand that? I mean, you can have UP grade or quality education without necessarily being in UP. So it's more equitable. Kasi hindi naman kaya ng UP tanggapin lahat na gusto naming tanggapin. And it's not even advisable. No. So our mission right now is to help others improve the quality of undergraduate education. And we are now on our 2-year period of helping them. And we do that through actual consultations, actual sharing of our best practices, and most importantly, to accept PhD candidates from other schools so that they can go back to the other schools and teach. A PhD could generally be a good help in improving quality undergraduate education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think also Director Kiko wants to add something.
We also honor the Scholar ng Bayan program. Ito po yung mga top 10 ng mga public high schools. Kapag sila ay nagtapos na nasa top 10 sila at sila ay nag-take ng UPCAT, provided there's a minimum grade requirement po kasi na 2.800 na admission score. So yung university predicted grade nila dapat 2.800 or better. Kung hindi sila nag-qualify ngayon, pero nagtapos sila ngayon, di ba? Panahon ng graduation ngayon eh. Ngayon malalaman nila kung top 10 sila. Pwede silang lumapit sa UP campus kung saan naroon sa rehiyon kung saan sila nag-high school. So halimbawa, yung mga taga Calabarzon, pwede silang lumapit sa UPLB kung sila ay top 10 ng kanilang national high school, hahanapan sila ng slot doon sa UPLB. So sa mga rehiyon po na walang UP unit, pwede po sila sa Open University lumapit para magkaroon ng admission. So tumatanggap tayo ng mga top 10 graduates sa mga public high schools natin through the Scholar ng Bayan Law. So pwede po yun.
Thank you very much. Yes, Professor Terry.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Assistant Professor Terry Conwico from the College of Media and Communication. So, gaya ng nasabi, hindi na po MASCOM. Pero UPCMC pa rin po kami. So, I have a phone-in question here from the Cordillera News Bureau and North Luzon Monitor. Good job daw sa YouTube streaming natin, very clear. And then, they're loving the numbers daw, Sir Kiko, the distribution-wise. But, yun, si Miss Leia Margate from North Luzon Monitor would like to ask daw po, Sir Kiko, yung breakdown ng IP, specifically sa Cordillera. And then for Sir Tristan, ang tanong po is, how can alumni help in the Lingap program daw po? So, yun. So, I two questions po. Maraming salamat.
Okay.
Before I give it to him, I'd like to inform you that I'm a member of the IP community as well. I'm from the Amanobo, from Agusan Valley. My IP name is Dato Mankalagan. And I am very interested in that particular concern.
Okay. So I think Dr. Kiko has some...
At this time, hindi ko pa na-summarize kung ilan yung qualifiers na galing sa mga indigenous cultural communities. Pero historically po, ang nag-a-apply sa atin ng mga miyembro ng mga indigenous cultural communities ay nasa mga 2,000 sila. At ang qualifiers natin typically ay nasa mga 380 to 400. Pero hindi ko pa nakukuha ngayon sa current cohort natin.
May I ask...
We will provide po immediately.
Okay, may we ask Ms. Leia Margate from the North Luzon Monitor to send a private chat message to Professor Terry, to the admin of the chat, with your email so Professor Kiko can send you the information. Okay.
Actually, we want also to emphasize that the UP test centers, we've been expanding. Actually, that's the reason why there are more students taking the UPCAT. So, yung increase ng number, so like for this UPCAT, around 138,000 applicant, but the previous to that was only 108. Oh, so, but by increasing the number of test centers, it will have more access to the by IP and also students from the geographically isolated areas.
Yes, I think, Mr. President, you mentioned the Davao del Oro.
Yeah, very
Yes.
correct. Davao de Oro. Usually, 10 lang yan. Nilagyan namin ng testing center sa Nabunturan. 31 na ngayon, no? So we're finding something here, no? That we are leaving so many things on the table, no? So to speak. No? So at second, through the effort of our admissions, by next year we shall have a testing center in 84 all provinces in the country. And then we will make announcement first. We are involving other entities. We cannot yet announce, no? Because they saw the result. The NGOs, they're willing to serve, no, as testing center or information centers, and even transport students. No? So there is a lot of excitement in our move to really search out those disadvantaged areas. In order to bring more and more students and help them qualify for UP.
Some of the test centers kasi from the school, parang 2 hours away. Hours away. So, pag sila lang, they will not take the UPCAT. So, that's yung sinasabi ni President na may iba na, kung susunduin at dadalhin doon sa test centers at ibabalik. And you'd be surprised in remote areas, there are some students who are actually brilliant. Tinatawag natin mga gems. Na they could qualify. And by yung in-announce na we have the Dialing Up Scholars where we will provide all the necessary expenses and materials, they can be successful and they can be the future leaders of this country.
Thank you. I think Dr. Tristan would like to add something.
Yeah, I would just like to answer the question regarding how alumni can help with the Lingap Scholar. Donations are very much welcome. In fact, we had an ongoing preparation of the MOA for Land Bank. They will be sponsoring, I think, 6 Lingap scholars. They specified what degree programs they would like, mostly agriculture kasi land bank na, no? But again, welcome po ang lahat ng donations to, if you want to sponsor a Lingap scholar, pwede po. You just have to come up with the benefits that we give to Lingap scholars, maximum of 165,000 a year. That's around 80,000 per semester. So this can be in the form of an endowment fund to be sustainable, or outright donations, kahit ano po. You just have to contact our office for details on how to work out the donations and sponsorship for scholars.
Just to add po, marami rin ho tayong mga alumni, yung gusto nila, meron silang sariling scholarship programs. And we welcome that also. So our constituent universities, meron ho tayong mga Office of Scholarships and Grants, the Office of Student Development Services, work closely po with the OSGs ng lahat ng CUs to formulate itong mga MOA with private donors, with our alumni na willing din magbigay outside pa doon sa provide na support under the Lingap Scholar Program.
Thank you. I'd also like to add, because the Office of Alumni Relations is actually part of the OVPPA, we want to make it easier for our alumni to donate to UP for whatever cause. Traditionally, alumni would look at scholarships or professorial chairs. There are so many other options now. And we are highlighting at this point the Lingap Scholar Program as another avenue for alumni to give back to UP. So you may contact the office of...
Facebook page po yung OST.
May sarili silang Facebook page para sa generation na nasa Facebook pa. Pwede rin po sa Office of Alumni Relations. I'd be happy to direct you to the right people.
Meron lang akong announcement, no? If you donate to UP, especially companies, that's 150% tax credit. No? That's 150%. You can deduct it from your taxable income. So the other one is if you donate, that's straight to UP. No? But some people want to donate to private foundations, like the UP Foundation, which I am the president of. 100% tax credit yon. Kasi hindi directly to the government, but through a foundation na merong ganong klaseng accreditation with the BIR. Let me just cite to you an example, and it is just one. I'll just tell you because kahapon lang ito, no? One of our alumni is based in the United States, named Julie Hill. He wanted to be quit UP, so he sold many of his paintings, and it netted 20 million pesos. So kahapon nagpirmahan kami donation for scholarship. So it's an endowment, i-invest natin yan, and we would like to invite others to add to this so that we can really create a massive fund. This is a fund for practical liberation, no? For many of our people. So maybe this is a very good avenue as well to spread this, no? Liberation from disadvantage, being disadvantaged, liberation from poverty, and hopefully it can become an important part of nation building.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to, yes, Diane, go ahead.
Hi, Diana Mendoza. I'm an independent editor and journalist. Locally, I contribute to the Inquirer and Vera Files. Balik po tayo dun sa scholar na program ninyo. To have like, can we give a human face to it? Has there been a case, an incident, situation of someone, a bright young person from a GIDA, a geographically isolated area, and then he passed the UPCAT? And nasa school na siya, so walking the campus, already in school. Because that, I think, to many Filipinos is the UP that they want to see. Yung nakatulong ang UP sa isang very poor person, young person, who passed the UPCAT. So how exactly are you doing that, yung scholar program, and how do you give access to a really very poor young person, from a very poor family, and nasa UP na siya, and that is a success story already for UP, di ba? And success story na rin for the young person and his or her family. So, parang ano lang, What's the story? May isa bang kwento? Share to us.
Yeah, of course, I'd like to cite an example. Paborito ko to, no? Richard Mualil, he is our graduate. No? He is the Vice Chancellor now of MSU Tawi-Tawi. He comes from, I think, Sitangkay or Simunul. That's the farthest island. No, he graduated and he took and he's one of the nation's top marine biologists now. So I'm so proud of this because he finished UP and went back to his area. And he's now a leading figure in education in Tawi-Tawi. That's our farthest archipelago. Pero marami, that was a long time ago na, no? Pero kung recent one, meron tayong pinost lately. But do you want to add?
I think, VP Marian, maybe you want to talk about the Lingap Scholar video.
May video na available po online. Pero if we can showcase it now, I think
Can you show it?
lang naman po yun. So, pwede
No.
po yan.
Like you, we also wanted to see a true story, a human face of the Lingap Scholar. So naghanap ang team ng makakausap, willing na mag-testify kung kumusta. We're only on our second year of implementing the program. So nasa yung pumasok last year na freshmen, makakaisang taon na sila. Hindi pa.
Let's just give them some time to...
And while waiting for
Magsisend daw
them
po
to...
ng link din si Ma'am.
Yeah.
Oo, while
But
waiting
yeah, okay.
for it to be shown. Actually, kikwento ko din na when we give scholarship to this financially disadvantaged students, minsan parang instead na ibibili nila ng food, pinapadala din nila yung money sa family. Kasi parang sabi, mas hirap po yung mga kapatid ko. Ako nakahingi ako ng pagkain dito. So, but if you look at it, those applying for scholarship sa atin reflects actually our society. 18% of our population are below poverty level. Around 18% also of those yung applying for, among our UPCAT passers. And kanina parang sinabi ni President, 21%, nasa 200,000 yung family income. And then actually, pag tinitingnan mo, siniset up nyo na, no? Meron din kaming isang program, kasi dito sa Diliman, pag nakita mo, akala mo, andyan naman mga estudyante, parang hindi lahat ng estudyante actually nakakain ng 3 meals a day, ng tama. So may iba nahihirapan. So may programa na Linghap Hapunan para mabigyan sila ng, ito yung mga dinodonate din ng mga alumni, na mabigyan sila ng 1 meal every day for 6 days in a week for them. Kasi parang hindi lahat akala mo lang, inassume mo lang na okay sila, but yun. And by providing this, nung nakausap namin yung mga nabigyan ng Lingap Scholar, yung scholarship, makikita mo na without that, hindi sila papasok dito. So, in fact, yun yung mga lahat nun, hindi sana mag-enroll kasi mahirap dito sa Metro Manila.
Okay, thank you. I think we have the video ready. Can you please flash it on the screen?
Nung nakatanggap po ako ng letter of acceptance sa UPD, sabi namin ni Mama parang imposible na makapasok kasi masyadong malaki yung expenses kasi maghanap pa ng dorm, allowance ko pa. I'm Edriv John Kel M. De Los Santos po. Freshman po, College of Education. Galing po ako sa Bulacan, Santa Maria, Bulacan. Maraming hadlang sa pag-aaral kasi masyadong matataas na yung bilihin. Imposible nang hindi ka makakapag-aral nang hindi mo iniisip yung pera mo. Kasi mahirap mag-aral kapag marami kang iniisip, kapag walang laman yung sikmura mo, ganun po. Single mother po ang nagpalaki sa amin. Dalawa po kaming magkapatid. Ako po yung bunso. Si kuya po ay ang breadwinner namin. Tapos si mama po ay walang trabaho kasi matanda na po siya. Ako pa lang po yung unang makakapag-college sa pamilya. Sabi ko sa sarili ko noon, kapag wala, edi wala talaga. Hindi ako makapag-UP kasi hindi ko naman pwedeng ipilit kasi wala naman akong masyadong maibibigay na pera dito sa bahay na to. Doon ko po nalaman yung Lingap Scholar. Tumawag po sila sa akin. Yun nga po, ililista ako, sama ako sa mga scholar noon, tapos makaka-receive ako ng libreng pagkain, libreng dorm, pero walang allowance. Pero maaaring pumasok bilang student assistant, gano'n. Hindi na ako mag-iisip ng iba pang mga problema habang nag-aaral. Natuwa ako na, natuwa po ako na nagkaroon ako ng scholarship kasi sukon-suko na ako noon sana. Pero ayun, thankfully, natawagan ako. Bata pa po ako, pangarap ko na po talaga maging teacher. Kasi pinaligiran ako ng mga teacher. Si mama, lagi siyang nasa school. Tapos yung mga kaibigan niya, mga teacher ko. So yung mga nakakasalumuha tuwing lunch, tuwing recess, mga teacher din. Tapos doon parang nagkaroon na ako ng insight na sila yung parang front row seat sa mga pagkatuto ng mga bata. Tapos ayun, parang doon na ignite yung pagkagusto ko maging teacher. Since si mama, pangarap niya rin sana maging teacher. Pero hindi niya sinabi sa akin, sinabi niya lang nung sinabi ko sa kanya na gusto maging guro. Kasi ang perception ko sa UP, parang makaka-receive ako ng quality enough na education para ma-secure yung future ko. Na quality din yung environment para ma-secure yung sarili ko. Maraming idea na nandito, maraming ideya, maraming mga tao na tutulong sa'yo. Hindi lang yung institusyon yung tutulong sa'yo, maging yung mga tao na makakasalamuha mo, yung mga experience na mapupulot mo in the long run. Aside nga doon sa libre siya, may quality na education, yung diverse na group na makakasalamuha mo, parang yun yung magiging exposure mo para magkaroon ka ng bagong learnings, ng mga dagdag sa kaalaman mo. Tapos makakapag-ambag yun sa pagiging guro ko kasi yung mga matututunan ko, maaari ko rin ibigay sa mga magiging estudyante ko in the future.
Okay, isa lang po yan sa 194 Lingap Scholars na last year. At marami pa pong similar na kwento. Maraming salamat din sa question mo. Any other questions from the floor? How about from Zoom?
Good morning po ulit.
Hello.
Meron.
Yeah. Good morning po ulit. This one is from Mindanao. Nef Locson, UPOU graduate po, Dr. Nef Locson. He is now with PNA and he has a group of reporters with him. And this is their question. Ano yung mga potential extension and collaboration projects ng UP sa regions, especially in northern Mindanao? Is there a possibility that satellite campuses or a constituent university in the works to be put up in the region?
No, we don't have plans to. No? UP lang. Ang strategy ng UP is to help other state universities and colleges, including private university, improve their standards. Because hindi naman pwedeng UP lang sa buong Pilipinas, no? So, but right now sa Northern Mindanao, we don't have. But we have partnerships, no? We have partnerships with, for example, CSU, Caraga State University, that's the main university there. And we are helping them in many of their programs. No? Kilala ko yung president mismo, that I came from there, no? Pero timing lang siguro. And we are promoting not just education, but we're promoting exchanges, even cultural exchanges. Last January, we sent the very renowned UP Contra Gapi there to the indigenous areas to perform culturally. And I was even there to help with the UPCAT briefings on that area. No? Kasi we are spreading all over. So yun lang siguro. So right now, sa Northern Mindanao, wala pang satellite campus or even a constituent units. But ang target namin is to assist, collaborate with other state universities to improve particularly undergraduate education in general. That's more equitable than UP carrying the entire burden. No?
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'd like to point out lang pala, sorry. We now are preparing for the opening of the College of Medicine in UP Mindanao. And we are also opening engineering. So we want to increase scholarships. We want to increase the capacity of Mindanao to absorb people from Mindanao itself. Although, there are some from other parts of the country who opt to be in Mindanao. No? I know somebody from Laguna who went there to take up architecture. They're always in the top 5 consistently for so many years now sa architectural exams. They have really gems there sa UP Mindanao.
Okay, any more questions from the floor or from Zoom? Yes, Gian.
Hello, good morning. Congratulations to our university officials and staff for your hard work leading up to this announcement. And of course, thanks for inviting us. Gian Libro from DZUP, UPCMC. The President mentioned a while ago, and I quote, "We are fully aware that entry to UP is just the first step. UP education is costly even if tuition is free. And that's why the university last year launched the Lingap Scholar Program. Can you give us a brief walkthrough of how the program works? And what are the specific benefits aside from lodging and perhaps food? How can prospective freshmen avail of the program, or is it like what happened to the testimonial? Do they get a call from the university?"
All right, thank you. I'll just tell you a story how we started Lingap Scholar last year. It was a challenge because we started it at the same time the UPCAT results were released. So there were no announcements. So we really had to get a list from the Office of Admissions who are from GIDA, and we called them one by one. So imagine our office, our staff, we called the qualifiers one by one and informed them about the Lingap Scholar Program. But now, it will be easier because we already have an announcement for all the qualifiers. So they can just send us an email for the application. So we will not do anymore the manual calling of all the qualifiers. We are expecting them to apply because we already have an announcement. And the benefits that they get, as I said earlier, it totals around 165,000 a year. This includes housing accommodation of 3,000 pesos. Some CUs have their own dormitories, some don't. So they are housed in private dormitories taken care of by the Office of Student Affairs. Food, 3 meals a day. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 300 a day, 100 per meal. So the totals around 9,000 per month. And then they have communication allowance of 500 a month. That's for load and connectivity. Book allowance of 5,000 per semester. And then 1,000 pesos per month for school supplies. And a one-time transportation allowance of 10,000 to relocate from their area to the campus. And this can be used year-round, 10,000. So if they have still allotted money left, they can go home to their hometown for the whole year. So that totals around 165,000 pesos. But in some cases, wherein the dormitories, like in Diliman, so it's less than 3,000. If they have savings for that benefit, and their degree programs have more expenses in terms of school supplies like fine arts, dentistry, or whatever course na talagang medyo mabigat yung mga supplies, those savings can be reallotted to the supplies. So, yun po yung medyo flexible yung allotment of the benefits.
Then just to add, no, kasi the current administration really wants to provide a holistic and comprehensive support for our UP students. Meaning to say, mula ko pagpasok nila, kaya siya inclusive admissions, we open test centers nationwide, and our goal is to have one test center per province, nga nabanggit kanina ng President. Pero gusto rin natin yung pananatili nila sa pamantasang ito ay sustainable, no? Kayang-kaya nila. So aside po sa mga nabanggit ni Sir Tristan, merong option yung ating mga lingap scholars na pumasok bilang mga student assistants and graduate assistants. And we would want to underscore na for the first time in a decade, under this current administration, aprobahan po yung pagtaas ng sahod nila. And just to give you the figures, para po sa ating mga student assistants, ang kanilang previous rate ay 60 pesos per hour. Ngayon ay 81 pesos per hour na. That's 35% increase ho. For our graduate assistants naman po sa master's level, from 100 pesos per hour, ngayon po 145 pesos na kada oras. That's a 45% increase. And for our PhD na graduate assistants, from 140 pesos per hour, 211 pesos per hour na po ang ibabayad natin sa kanila. So that's 50% increase po. Yan, napakagandang balita po para sa mga estudyante at para sa buong UP community.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions from Zoom or from the floor?
Ma'am?
Yes, would you like to add something? Yes.
Sometimes kasi it's not just the money or the financial difficulty. Sometimes yung going from your hometown, going to another area is difficult. So we included in the Lingap Scholar program, the mentoring program for the students. We asked the university registrars to actually assign mentors to these students to guide them in their everyday life, yung social adjustment and everything. Para din po maka-adjust sila sa university ng madali. No? Because we had experience before na from remote areas, tapos after a semester ay nalulungkot, walang support, so eventually had to stop. So now, para naman makapag-adjust sila mabuti, we are assigning mentors to them. Preferably those who had faculty members who had the same experience, no? Na from a small town going to the campus.
Last na lang po, no, napaka-malaking usapin kasi sa mga estudyante yung mental health nila. So we are also providing mental health support, hindi lang po sa mga lingap scholars, no, pero sa mga estudyanteng nangangailangan. Meron tayo ngayong mental health budget para sa mga estudyante na magka-qualify. They will have to reach out sa office natin. That's 7,500 pesos kada semestre na binibigay ho natin sa mga qualified students. Papakita lang din nila yung kanilang yung expenses and of course yung diagnosis po sa kanila. So again, we would want to provide the students with a holistic support po talaga para sa kanila.
We also have bridging courses for them. So to bridge the gap dun sa high school knowledge nila, skills, English, mathematics. Yeah, to dun sa college level English and math. So we're able to help them. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. A lot of great news about UP. I think it's time to...
we have many questions from Zoom, from the live stream. So medyo, we can probably just address them later. Pero may isa lang na question dito. So for clarification siguro, to confirm daw, the top 10 from graduating class is applicable for public high school na graduates from grade 12 and not from grade 10. So ano daw po ba yung tinitinan grade 12 and grade 10 or grade 12? More on the grade 12.
Graduation sa senior high school. Kasi papasok sila sa UP eh. Diba? So dapat matapos nila yung senior high nila para makapasok sila sa university tertiary education.
Okay, so as Professor Terry mentioned, we cannot accommodate all the questions in the live stream and Zoom. So we will provide the questions to our resource persons, and then Professor Terry can just relay them to our friends in the media. Okay,
May
so
questions din on Intermed. Kailan daw ilalabas, sir?
We're currently preparing it this week. Excited masyado. Very competitive kasi yan eh. 40 lang sila eh. 20 males and 20 females.
okay, malapit na.
Napaka-competitive niya.
Abangan. All right, so at this point, we take a break for lunch. But feel free to continue the conversations. Our resource persons will be available to dialogue with you during the course of the lunch. Thank you very much and enjoy the afternoon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa pagdalo ngayong araw na ito.